Okay, what's up, fellas? I'm gonna try and explain in this video how to essentially go from this to that, right? You have your bullseye and your saddle cut in. Okay, so real quick, terminology. This is your bullseye, okay, which is also part of your arch. And then this is your saddle. So this is a saddle brick. The brick that cuts into the bullseye is the saddle. These two things together, it's called a connection. And so this is the area where the dome ties into the backside of the entry arch for the pizza oven. And just FYI, I am sick right now, so excuse the sniffles and coughs and sneezes or whatever you may hear throughout this video. That's another reason why I'm making this video, actually, because I'm bored at home not working because I'm sick. So anyways, I see a lot of great builds on this page lately. I've been doing a great job, especially for people that have never touched a brick before. Where I still see a lot of people struggle, and I still have a lot of people asking me questions, is about this area right here and how to cut all of that in. You know, it really is an essential part of the oven to keep everything under compression and keep everything structurally sound, you know, throughout the years and the thermal cycles that these ovens go through. You know, it's important to have this stuff, you know, tied in properly. You know, you build this thing right, it'll last. It'll last generations. It'll last for a while. So I guess I'll start off with some of the key pointers. Let's start off with, let's see where we're at. Where are we? So this is the dome right here, right? Imagine this. You could probably see that faint black line right there. That's actually the diameter of my dome. I have it drawn out on my my garage floor. So first thing you want to do is make yourself a good gizmo. A lot of people call it a trammel. We call it a gizmo on the industrial side. And it's essentially just a stick that goes to center. So establish center. Get yourself one of these little thingies. I forgot what it's called. It's like a wheel for the bottom of a chair or whatever. You can get them at Home Depot. And then this is, what, like 1.5 inches thick or something? It's nothing fancy. It's just a single piece of wood. That's the radius of my build, right? And it's important to have this because all these cuts and marks and everything you're doing right here, all the way to, you know, how you're turning and rolling your dome, it's all based off of this stick right here, this gizmo. This has all your answers. So just keep that in mind for everything. This thing has all your answers, I promise you. There's no need to have, you know, some people have that extra little piece that they screw on the top of it, like that like sits, you know, on top of the brick. You don't need that. Keep it simple, get that out of the way, and have something just like this so that you can get your marks a little bit easier. But okay, anyways, where else was I at? So that's a key takeaway, that right there. Another key takeaway is I would suggest cutting all this in first before you start, because a lot of times you see people like start back here and they build their dome like more than halfway up and they haven't even touched this yet. That is not what you want to do. You want to start here. You want to finish that. Key this arch in, have it all cut in and good to go. Have your saddle brick cut up as far as you can go to where it can hold itself in, and then start chasing your dome out and laying it up and doing it like that. Because what you don't want to do is have all this built up already, and now you're over here and you're trying to cut in right here with there's no room to do anything. You can't, you know, if you've already have your bond and your dome established already, so whatever this cut is, it could be a little slither, like whatever it is, you have to put it there now. It's not good. Leave yourself some room. Get that dome out of the way. Establish all this work right here because this is where the majority of the marks and cuts are at, right? Okay, so do this first. This allows you to get bigger saddle brick, and then it allows you to start your bond off right? Whole brick, bat, and then a whole brick right here, right? It'll allow you to establish your bond on both sides of the entry arch so that when you meet back here in the middle, you can swap your keys as you go up, and your bond will excuse me, your bond will stay on point throughout the dome. And so that's really what you want to do. So establish this, lay it, cut it, mark it, cut it, lay it first, and then do your dome. Okay, so that's your gizmo. That's that. Also, you want to, so you'll either see an entry arch like this, where it's like a couple of brick, and then a skew, and then a segment arch on top of that. And a segment arch is just a segment of a total circle. What most people do, or what I usually see, is a radial arch. So there's no like wall right here, and then an arch. It just starts off with a radial arch. It's just all arch. And a radial arch is typically just half of the circle instead of a segment of a total circle. But you can establish that, you know, way ahead of time. You can have all that stuff established and cut before you even get to this point. Matter of fact, you have to. So once you have that set up, you want to make sure that your arch setup is pushed far enough into the oven so that you can cut into it, so that you can get these cuts and that you can have these brick under compression when they're laid. Because if the arch is pushed, you know, too far out that way, and you have an empty spot that you can't mark because it's too far away, well, that's going to be a void at the end of things when everything is said and done. You're going to end up, you know, probably just slapping some mortar in there, which is going to fall out eventually. So that's not what you want. That's another key takeaway, is make sure that your arch is pushed far enough into the oven so that you can cut into it. Okay, if that messes up your distance out here, right? If you got, however, if you got like a certain mark you're trying to hit out here, well then just bond it out. You can bond this out much easier than you can, trying to fix this arch being too far away to where you can't cut into it. All right, so wow, it's already 9 minutes. I guess I'll just try to keep this short and simple, man. I'm really trying to, but I guess there's just a lot of information right here. It's pretty crazy. Okay, anyways, all right, let's get move on. So we went over gizmo, establishing this first arch, push it in far enough to where you can cut it, have it all established beforehand so that it looks like this. All right, now I'll start showing you how to cut this in. So now that you've already seen this, let me pause the video and let me take some of this stuff down, and then we'll start working it up from the bottom. All right, sound good? See y'all soon. Okay, so to establish your first cut, we use our gizmo. Boom, set it right on top. There you go. See how this gizmo follows that line? That's how we got that mark, by using the gizmo. Now, for this mark right here, we're gonna use just a regular bat. A bat is half of a brick. So it's 4.5 wide, 4.5 inches wide. And so this brick goes along like this, right? As a starter course. So all we would do is pick that brick up so that we can continue on this line right here that we have drawn out. And we move it, stay square with this line for the face of this brick, and move it until this back corner hits the brick. And then boom, that's your mark. Once you mark that and cut it, it should look like this. So we'll set this right here. And there you go, nice and tight. You would continue this course just like that, and that's tight. All right, now that first one's established, so let's set the second brick on top. You just want to match it to the back here, all right? So that's good enough for the video. All right, so again, this is actually where things kind of change a little bit. So because you have a first brick established, right, you can actually get some marks off of that. So you basically come up under here and you would mark this brick, to this angle to match this angle, right? So you go ahead and mark that. You would come over here and you would mark where this cut is on the brick below. Let's start marking. Yeah, so mark that. Once you have that mark, and then you have, here, I'll just put a mark right here, just for better reference. But you would just draw this line under here, just like that, on the bottom side of this brick right here. And then for the other marks, boom, gizmo, mark, and mark again. Honestly, I would probably just cut this first, get that piece out of the way, so that I could get this bottom mark a little bit better. I could reach under there and actually, scribe that mark under there a little bit better. And that's that. So the important note to take away from that is, once that first brick is established, you can start building off of that, right? So obviously, the brick that's not cut yet, so the next brick on top of the brick that is cut and established, you can mark off of those cuts right there. Okay, mark right here where that cut is, and then use your gizmo for the rest of the marks. Just wherever your gizmo touches on the side of these brick, so right there would be a mark. That's where you put your mark, you connect all of them, then cut it, and you're good. All right, so, and I'm gonna show you a good example of that right over here. So let's say you cut all this in already. This is all just one angle right here. Boom. It's the same one as this. It's the same one as that. It just goes up until you finally hit your segment arch, which is what we're about to do now. So this is the first arch brick that's going in my arch. And again, I'm doing this one-handed. So, oh man, my gizmo fell apart. Okay, might have to pause this and come back to it, but actually, yeah, I'm gonna pause real quick, I'll be right back. Okay, we're back. Gizmo is set. Okay, so if we wrap over here around to the side, show you a little bit better how this is gonna go. Okay, so you would mark right here. You would mark under this, right? Because we can mark off of the brick that's already cut and established. We know this is good. We know this is a good angle. Mark. Okay. We know. Let's see, where are we at, right, y'all? We know that this is a good angle. So I can kind of mark that right there. Now we bust our gizmo out. Boom. You see how I set it right there on center? Okay, now draw a mark right there. Move it to right here. Just connecting the dots. One-handed, here we go. Connecting the dots. Bring it over here. All right, so boom, boom, boom. Get you another little mark right here, if you can reach. You don't gotta be perfect, it's just a pizza oven. We got grinders, right? So this mark goes, what is that right here? Boom. So I like to put little X's, just so I don't get turned around. You can put a little F for face, that's the face of the brick. Or, you know, just whatever you need to do to keep yourself right. Okay, so now, let's see, I really wish I had like a phone stand or something. Okay, look, I'm gonna mark this real quick, where these two dots connect. Just hold on real quick. All right, so this is what's being cut off. This cut right here is gonna be the roll of the dome, okay? Now to get this mark right here, because obviously our gizmo is not long enough, right? To get this mark right here, because this isn't gonna just square off over here. It's gonna come forward a little bit, or it might go back a little bit. I don't know. Let's set a brick up there and see what it does. So our lining is 4.5 inches thick, right? That's what most people do. So you can either get a tape and square off that line you have drawn at 4.5, okay? Until you touch, right? So you don't want to be squared off at 4.5 right here, because you're not touching right there. You want to cut enough brick off to where your 4.5 inch brick can sit and saddle on this bullseye cut, right? So don't use tape. Just grab yourself one of your dome brick, that's 4.5 inches, okay? Start right here at the edge and just slide it down until that back corner touches. Okay, so wherever this back corner touches right there, see that? And we're on our line right here, we're square and on our line, and that back corner touches, that's our mark. So I'm gonna set it down real quick. I don't know if you can see this or not, probably not, but I'll do that. So this is how I would do it. Come right here, and square up on my line that I've drawn out, then mark that, boom. Okay, see that? So that's the new mark we got, so X, that's what's coming off. And so you see how this mark is more forward than this mark is? It's gonna be like that throughout the entirety of the arch, okay? So now you'd have to, that's what makes this a double compound miter, because you got all these different, this angle, you got this angle, that's also different from this side. And so if you were to cut that brick right there, it should look like this. See how that left side is creeping more forward than that right side? See how it's all super oblong and just weird shaped? But that's exactly what you need. That's what this oven calls for. You cut it, you set it, and it goes just like that. So this should, see, it follows perfectly. That's exactly what you want right there. All right, so you keep doing that same technique. You're eventually gonna end up with a real nice looking bullseye. You can establish this whole bullseye. And you can keep that thing all the way up, all the way around, boom, done. To where all you're doing now is cutting your saddle brick into that bullseye. All right, so that's how you get those marks for the saddle. I'm sorry, this is all one-handed. Okay, when I'm trying to do these marks, it's very difficult, but hopefully I'm explaining it pretty well. All right, so next, I'm probably gonna pause the video, but I'm gonna show you how to mark the saddle brick. Actually, I probably won't even have to pause the video. I'll just go ahead and just get right on into it. Get right on into it. 3, there's another 4. Okay, this is a saddle brick. See how it's rounded out like that? So this should slide right into place. Look at that. I mean, that's perfection. You can't ask for nothing better than that, right? So how do we get that out of this? Right? So this is what you're left with. All right. So this is an actual true course brick for course number 4. It's tapered and arched correctly to turn the whole course. Okay. You don't want that when you're cutting a saddle into your bullseye. You want the roll of it to be right. Right? So you want this angle so that you know you're rolling right. And then you want to set your brick right before you start marking it. For obvious reasons. God dang it, I fell out again. Okay, that's fine. I really don't need the gizmo for this. Yeah, so that's another good thing. You don't need the gizmo really to mark your saddle. But so you just want to make sure that this brick it's not like that, right? Where you got that. You want it to be turning properly on the face. So you want your dang it. There it is. You want this brick to be squared with your gizmo, right? You don't want it like that or like that. You need this brick squared with the gizmo, okay? So once this brick is set in the right spot, okay, now you can mark it. I'll show you how to do that. All you need is a strap, which is basically just a straight edge, and a pencil. So let me... So you want to find... excuse me. You want to find the furthest point away from what you're cutting into, which is going to be this point right here, excuse me, okay? And so we're going to, without getting in the camera's way, as best as I can, you straight edge to what you're cutting into, touch it, mark your strap. Mark your strap, okay? And then use your strap and this mark to mark the other 3 edges of this brick. Right, so right off the bat, here's what you can do. Mark your strap, and then before you go anywhere crazy, mark this corner. Because you're gonna be cutting to this corner. So you're gonna be cutting to nothing, is what we say. Nothing to this corner, because you want this corner to suck up to this brick, right? So we mark this corner so that we don't get lost. Now, you transfer this mark all the way around. You try to stay, square and straight with your brick as you mark, okay? Touch what you're cutting into, and then place your mark on the brick, right? So right there. So we now know that this angle right here is what you're gonna be cutting. If I can. So there's that. Now, go to the front. And it's gonna be the same thing up here. It's gonna be the same exact thing. Let me see if I can set you guys up so you can see it. Oh, you can see it. You can see it. Okay. It moved a little bit, but it's okay. You guys get the point. I'm gonna mark my strap a little bit better. There we go. Okay. Again, hit what you're cutting into, and then transfer that mark to your brick. Okay, and then go to nothing. That corner that we're calling nothing. Same thing down here. So for this, since you're touching, you can pick the brick up, right? And then just start at this corner right here, and then put your mark right there. Boom. Right. So we got that line drawn. This line right here. Let me go ahead and mark that down. I'm gonna mark that. Hold on. I know this video is all over the place. I'm sorry, but I think y'all still get the hint. Let me set this in my lap, actually. And this mark. Go right there. So if I set this back here, boom. Okay. That's what that cut's gonna look like. See, as you can kind of see, so another good way to look at it is, you see this red line, and then you see the line of the bullseye brick, they're running parallel. So to give that a quick eyeball, to see if it's running parallel, you know you're on the right track. And so once you cut that brick, it's gonna suck up to the bullseye, just like that. And you may have to bust your grinder out a little bit. Bust your grinder out, round it out, do whatever you gotta do, finesse it, and then the mud will take care of the rest. Excuse me. Where's the 5? Yeah, see how round that is? But it has to be round to saddle up to that brick. Alright, so let's say we're gonna do this one. Let me see. Ah, my thing fell apart. Dang it. Anyways, okay. I think you guys get the hint though. That's basically it. If you guys have any questions, just let me know, but